And what he said is this, that he supports the rights of states to decide on this issue. He wants the people to have the say. He wants it to be up to the will of the people. And that's exactly what the Dobbs decision did. It returned this issue back to the states, back to those closest to us in our state legislatures. Now, the president has always strongly supported exceptions on this issue of abortion for life of the mother, for rape, and for incest, which again, the majority of Americans also support that. And President Trump was also right to call out the Democrats, who are the radicals on this issue of abortion. Joe Biden and the Democrats support aborting an unborn baby up until the moment of birth. Many Democrats have also expressed abortion beyond that state, after the child is born and laying on the hospital bed. That is infanticide. That is execution, as President Trump called it in his statement. And Joe Biden and the Democrats also support taxpayer-funded abortions, forcing the American people to fund abortions when largely most Americans disagree with it. And so President Trump has a common sense position on this issue. He, of course, is so proud to be the president that helped overturn the Dobbs decision, which again returned this issue back to the states. The Democrats love to lie about what that did, but it actually returned the choice on this issue back to we the people.
Okay, so do you think the president should have stated, because this is, again, he released the video about 25 minutes ago. The media is going to pick this up, and today it's going to be that Trump didn't say that he supports a 15-week ban. Should he have included something like that in the speech, even if, as president, it's not up to the president? The Supreme Court made it clear that it's up to the states. Do you think that should have been in there for people to hear?
No, I think that this is where the president stands. This is where his heart is, and he believes in states' rights, and that's where his position lies, and that's where he'll continue to support when he's back in the White House.
And I know he also has said that he supports the availability of IVF, which is so important to so many people to start a family. If you could just elaborate a little bit on his stance on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as President Trump said in the beginning of this video, Republicans stand on the side of families. We are the pro-family, pro-women, pro-life party. And President Trump wants to make it easier for families to have children. And that includes supporting fertility treatments like IVF, which are widely used by so many Americans across this great country. President Trump was instrumental in ensuring that the Alabama legislature moved on the decision of IVF to ensure that could be protected for people in that state. And he'll continue to play a role in ensuring that all families have access to fertility treatments so we can bring more life into this country. An unborn child is the greatest blessing, as President Trump said, and he wants to make it easier for all families to have that blessing.
Yeah, Karoline, this is one of those days in the campaign that will be remembered because people have wanted to know what the president's position is going to be. Do you think this ends the conversation when it comes to abortion and the impact abortion could play in November? Because in 2022, I mean, we were talking about a red tidal wave, and that never actually happened. It was abortion. People went out and voted on abortion. Do you see the same thing happening in November? Does abortion play the role in 7 months that it played 2 years ago?
Well, we'll continue to have the conversation to expose how radical the Democrats are on this issue, because they are out of step with the American public. Again, aborting a child up until the 9th month of pregnancy is a radical policy that the vast majority of Americans disagree with. The vast majority of Americans also do not want to see their tax dollars going towards funding abortions. And that's what Joe Biden's recent budget actually did. He would force Americans to pay for abortions against their will. And so we'll continue to expose their radical stances on this issue. And I think that voters, when they go to the polls on November the 5th, are going to be thinking about immigration and inflation, the two issues that we continue to see as the number one and two issues in this country in every single state because of Joe Biden's other radical policies on immigration with his wide open border and also his tax and spend economic policies that have led to the greatest inflation crisis we've seen in a generation.
Karoline, privately, and I know that you've been a part of these talks, privately, is the president closer to a 15-week ban or a 6-week ban like what Ron DeSantis supports down there in Florida?
privately and publicly, the president stands where he announced his position today, and that is in favor of states' rights.
Okay. I also thought it was interesting that he made sure to reference where Ronald Reagan was on abortion. Ronald Reagan, of course, many people look to Reagan as the standard bearer for the conservative movement. And Ronald Reagan was very clear about favoring exactly what the former president said today, exceptions for rape, incest, and the health of the mother. We'll see how